What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another edition of J House. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is doing well. And before we get into this video, hit that like button and subscribe, and welcome to the show. Episodes 2 and 3 of Twilight of the Gods, respectfully titled The Heretic Spear and You Will Gladden His Ravens, has been really one of the more lore-building aspects of the show. In Episode 2, we take Heretic Spear and Sigrund and her husband go to find warriors to help fight in this battle against Thor. It's really more so of that normal gathering of the warriors episode that we see in a lot of different stories. So Rebel Moon does the exact same thing, where Korra goes and she goes and finds off all these different warriors to help her fight. It's the same thing here, recruiting a whole lot of people that they know, major, awesome, powerful people to help fight against Thor. People who have nothing left to lose. So it's this ragtag group of elite warriors, of course, who know that they're probably not going to make it out of there, going to fulfill this mission. They go to Nidavellir, and now the concept of Nidavellir was where the Doors made their weapons, god-killing weapons, all that sorts of stuff. And I remember first seeing it in Avengers Infinity War when Thor had mentioned it in the MCU. But to go into the real aspect of Norse mythology, that where Zack takes it with the Guardian at the gate and Loki having to help them out get into Nidavellir, it lends so much, seriousness, and it's so much darker when it comes to the reasoning behind these weapons. And then you find out what the river on the way to Nidavellir is made up out of sharp metal, and that there are mistreated, the souls of mistreated women are in the river, and all this other crazy Norse mythology stuff that you just never really knew about, just all sort of serves the story in this ultimate revenge plot. So they get to Nidavellir, and this is where between Sigrid and Leif, we start to see this rift in their relationship, and that'll go into episode 3. In this one, we understand that once they get their weapons, they're told by the Forge Master that these weapons have the ability to change destiny, they change fate, and in order for them to do their job, the cost of it, the price of it, is your own future and your own soul. Sigrid hesitates not once, not at all, grabs her spear, pledges it, because she knows that this has got to end with Thor having his head on a pike. The rest of the team does it. Leif sort of hesitates a bit because he knows that darkness and revenge is consuming Sigrid, but he loves her so much that he does it anyway. The Forge Master says if you grab this weapon with hesitation, then normally people get burnt up. He grabbed it, he doesn't get burnt up because he's so dedicated. So he really risked his life for Sigrid right there, just for the sake of revenge. So he really does love her, and he does care about her. And when he met her, he sort of went from this, they called him Leif the Merciless. He sort of goes from that to now Leif the Merciful, because he's changed. Love has changed him and softened him up a bit, and he doesn't want to be that same kind of violent person, but he's willing to do anything in order to stay by Sigrid's side because he loves her so much. Outside of that, nothing really else happened in episode 2. Loki's plotting around a little bit. Thor is being a butt as usual, and I'll get into that going into episode 3. Episode 3 is titled You Will Gladden His Ravens, hinting at Odin's hunters that he's dispatched about to go and get this ragtag group of elite warriors from chasing Thor. Thor's been confined to Asgard. He makes a huge fuss about it. Thor's got this whole thing going on with this like merman lady or whatever. This mermaid or who is Siren, whoever. You know, he's got this whole thing going on, and of course this is like the most X-rated any Snyder project has ever been. So people are getting freaky in this show. Let's just say that. People are getting down in this show. I'll just say that. It's crazy. Coffee break. But anyways, after leaving, the group goes to Vanaheim, because Vanaheim is where the Vanir stay, because in Norse mythology you had two different sections of beings that existed. You had the Vanir, and then you had the Aesir, and then they had beef that led to the Aesir being in total control, while the Vanir were vanished into a secluded lifestyle. So the Vanir live in secret. It is an open act of war for the Aesir to even trespass into Vanir territory. So that is where the group seeks their allyship from the Vanir. So that's a pretty cool concept, and the lore behind that was pretty much dove into and explored too as well. And when we get there, Thor just decides, you know what, forget this. First of all, Thor is unhinged, as I've said all throughout this video. Thor is just unhinged. This is the true, if this is the true Norse mythology version of Thor, then this is probably the best one that I've ever seen. Thor is a butthole. He's mean. He smacks his son around when his son gets the best of him in something. Like, he's a real douchebag all the way through and through. And so with that, he crosses that line. He says, forget what Odin's talking about. I'm not about to sit here and do all this. I'm gone. And so he goes, tries to catch up with Sigrid in the group. Him and Sigrid have their first battle. They have their first real deal battle where she's all armored up and stuff. And she kind of stands her ground, but we see, and shout out to the animation team and everyone, this has been the coolest combat I've seen in animation thus far. The way that they've portrayed Thor's powers, the way that he's been able to transport and just move through things, the way he uses his lightning is the most brutal and terrifying that we have ever seen. Even scarier and more brutal than Thor in God of War Ragnarok, I would say. So props to the team for how they portrayed Thor in this show. Top tier. They get into Vanaheim. Vanaheim, and they talk to the Vanir. Try to bargain a deal with them. Say, hey man, we need you guys' help. If y'all are gonna help us, please do. They're like, no, because we're not trying to really get into that beef and destroy the world. And so Leif takes the approach of begging and trying to, you know, be nice and humble. Loki gets into Sigurd's ear and tells her, you know, hey, tell them that you'll get the apples of eternity so that they don't wither away. That's one of the treasures that was taken away from the Vanir long ago. And they agreed to it. So after that, more of that rift comes in between Leif and Sigrid, because she's like, while you were on your knees, you know, I was, you know, trying to make a deal. What are you doing? And they keep going back and forth throughout the whole show, because Leif is sort of, the darker they go down this path, the more Leif is hesitant to follow Sigrid, but he loves her, so he'll do it anyway, because that vengeance and that darkness is consuming her, and she can't stop. They get the support of the Vanir. They go on their travels, and they get ready to attempt to kill a dragon that is guarding what they need in order to get an allyship with the Vanir. So that is all for episode 2 and 3. Episodes 4 and 5 I will be reviewing tomorrow, and I'll have that video out for you guys as well. I'm enjoying this series. Snyder fans have never eaten so good. We've gotten Rebel Moon. We've gotten the director's cuts this year as well that have been chock full of action. And then on top of that, now we have Twilight of the Gods, which is an amazing show thus far, and I'm having fun reviewing it. Zach is also back at WB for 300, so that is freaking incredible. That's huge news as well, and I'm just excited. It's an exciting time to be a Snyder fan right now. No matter what the internet says or all the negativity, it is a great time to be a Snyder fan at this moment. So have a great weekend. I hope everyone is blessed.